Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and another Monday Mix. Today is the 1st of September 2025. Hard to believe we've only got 4 months left of the year to see out. Now there's nothing coin related relating to the what happened on this day events to show you today, but stay tuned because I've got an absolute stack of coins to show you. They are sort of just out of shot around the mat. And apologies for the gruffness of my voice because I have had a bit of a sore throat over the last day or two. So we'll kick off with some coin news. Now I've heard on the grapevine that the long-awaited Monopoly 50 pence is coming out sometime this month. Now way back in April and then again in June there was 2 separate royal proclamations. The first one stated it was going to be the Mr. Monopoly character surrounded by game pieces from the game Monopoly. And then the one in June just said it's just had the Monopoly logo. So I don't know whether that means we're going to have 2 separate coins or whether it refers to just the same coin. And then, of course, we don't know whether it's going to be circulated or not. Hopefully it will be. That'll be an interesting coin to find in your change. And the second bit of news relates to the statement that the Royal Mint put out last week to say that the first coin of the 5 coin set relating to the portraits of Queen Elizabeth II on a £5 coin is going to be coming out on the 8th of September, which is quite a poignant date because the 8th of September 2022 was the day that Queen Elizabeth II passed away. So the first one is going to be the Mary Gillick portrait, and then of course we'll have the Arnold Mackem portraits, Raphael David McClure, Ian Rank Broadley, and then of course Jodie Clark. Now I'm presuming they're going to be coming out over the next few months, or hopefully they're not going to be all coming out together. Now it's been stated around the coin community that why didn't they just have one coin with all 5 portraits, which they have actually done in the past. Way back in 2015 there was this coin here which was a James Butler portrait. The reverse was done by Stephen Taylor. It was actually a £10 silver-proof coin. It was an absolutely huge coin because it was 156.3 grams in weight and 65 millimeters in diameter, and it was 0.9999 silver. So if you think about it, 156 grams in weight, that's having like 13 £2 coins in your hand. It was also done in gold proof as well. And also in 2015 there was this £20 coin. It was a slightly smaller coin, 15.71 grams and 27 millimeters in diameter, 0.999 silver. That was done by Jodie Clark. But those coins related to the longest reign of Queen Elizabeth II. She passed Queen Victoria in that year. Right, so let's have a look at some coins. Well, I've been doing a bit of a coin trade with Andy F. If you can remember, we did a little while back where he sent me quite a few American quarters, and he's been getting some American wheat cents, and he had some duplicates, so he sent me quite a few. So I've got a 1910p Philadelphia. Obviously they don't have the P on the obverse of those, but it's just for me to know which one's which. Then we've got a 1914, 1918, 25, 1930, 35, 37, 39, and then we've got a 51 with a D mint mark, Denver 52, Denver 55, 56, and then a Philadelphia 56 and a Denver 57. Now I think off the top of my head, I think the wheat cents went from 1909 to, was it 1957? Could be that date. But anyway, thank you for that, Andy. I'm going to be sending Andy some African coins of these after, and possibly some Canadians as well. Now, with bank holiday on Monday, me and the missus went to one of the local car boot fairs. I was hoping to see one of my regular coin sellers, but he wasn't there yet again. But my wife did actually spot a box of coins on one stall, and this is the box that it came in. Obviously it's empty on this photograph. I mean, it wasn't like totally full, so I put them all onto like an old tray with a bit of kitchen roll on them to stop all the muck getting everywhere, and sorted them out. Right, so what did I have? Well, there was the old pre-decimal half pences. There was 174 of those. Now I do already have the full set of the halfpences, including the brilliant uncirculated or non-circulating coins. But I did manage to get an 83 out of that to go into a secondary set. There was also 7 farthings of various dates, and then this one's got the Wren on 1945, and we've got some with Britannia on them. There's 7 of those. I think I had every single one of those. And there was the pre-decimal halfpences. There was actually 51 of those. By the way, the coin seller was asking £1 for 4 coins, and I thought that was a bit excessive. He says, "Oh, you can have the whole box for £25." Now, I didn't see anything, but then he said, well, maybe £22. Then it went down to £18, and finally £15. So I got the whole lot for £15. So in total, there was actually 807 coins. But so by his reckoning, I would have had to pay just over £201 for them all. So like I say, I got them for 15, which isn't too bad. So there were the halfpences. There were some pretty poor ones as well. I mean, this one is 1916. That one there has got nothing on it at all. You cannot read it, as was that one. This one I think was an 18 something, because I couldn't really read it all. It is a Victorian one, but I can't see the date properly. This one here was a 1919. If we can just zoom in slightly, just on the bottom there. Again, it was a bit hard to see. They'd probably end up going in the bin. And then there was this one here from 1953. Now, on the obverse, where that little cross is at the top, there is 2 varieties. There's one that points to in between beads, which this one is, which is the obverse 1. There's also one obverse 2 where it points directly to a bead, and the obverse 2 is a slightly less common one. This is the more common variety. But I have some spare Whitman folders. So this one is for the halfpennies from 1937 up to the final day of 1967. So I'll be able to put that one in there. I did have some more from that bag, which I have actually put into this folder as well. There was one threepenny bit from 1967. Again, that's a date I've already got. There was some pennies. There was 27 of those. I've managed to find an 1860 and an 1874 to go into the collection. Both of them weren't very in good condition. There was also an 1861. Now, this one had quite a wide date, which I haven't seen before. And I've got a picture there on the screen. The one on the top is the smaller date, which is the one that is from my collection. But the 1861 is on the bottom is the wider date. It is again very badly worn. You couldn't really see much more other than the date. But I did contact Paul at Coin Patrol because I said it's something I haven't come across before. There was nothing on New Mister about it, but he's confirmed that there was a wide date variety. Next was some sixpences. There was 87 of those. Most of them again I already had, but there was the odd one or two that I was actually able to fill in these 2 spare albums. I have got a larger album which has got some silver ones in as well. The only date I'm missing is 1952. This folder is exactly the same. It's just the 1952 one I'm missing, but I do have all the others. So I was thinking of putting them on eBay as maybe like a starter set for somebody. 1 shillings. There was the old style and also the decimal 5 pences. In total there was 93 of those. And I've done exactly the same with these folders. That one there is a 1937 to 1951, so most of them are going to be silver, but from 1947 onwards they were just the Cuban nickel, so I don't have many of those, but I do have I guess a bigger album with some silver ones in. Then we've got from 1953 to present day. Just got a few. I've had to write those on there because some of these didn't have the dates on. This one I think had the dates on apart from the last one. That one's decided to fall out. What's this? 1966 England. That was the last year that the shillings were produced. So again, I might put them up for starter sets on eBay. There was also 8 of the decimal 10 pences, or 2 shillings if you want. Moving on to foreign coins, I've got 5 Egyptian and 2 French ones here. This one here is very, very badly worn. It's 1924 50 centimes. Don't know whether I want to put that in a flip at all, but the others I have put in flips. So I've got this one here from Egypt, 5 Kirsch. Didn't have a mintage figure for that one. And I've got a 5 Kirsch from 1984. It's got the pyramids on the obverse. 1992 5 Kirsch. Some sort of urn or pot. 1992 10 Kirsch. And a 25 Kirsch or 35 piastres. It's just got like an ornate design. And the other French one, 1969 10 centimes, one I didn't have in the date run, which I thought was quite strange because I have quite a lot of 10 centimes, but I didn't have that one. Then we'll move on to Canada. There was 68 1 cents, out of which I managed to get dates that I hadn't got. So 1946, 1957, 59, 72, 74, 78, 81, 82, 84, quite good date on here, 85, 89, that one there's a commemorative one, Confederation, 1992, 1995, 1997, 1998, 1999 and 2000. Now the final year of the Canadian cents was 2012, after which they didn't mint anymore. And the Canadian 5 cents was actually 24 of those, of which I was able to find 7 that I needed. So I've got 1960, 62, 63, 64, 65, another commemorative Confederation, 1992 and 1997. For the 10 cents, there was actually 35 of those, and there was only 3 that I was able to get for the collection with this one. A 1991 and 2 from 2003. Now both of them, as you can see, I've got their P, which stands for plated, but one has a 3rd portrait on and one has a 4th portrait on. And that's the thing with some Canadian currency, you do need to check that some years a different portrait was used. It's similar like our 2015s, because it was changed from Abraham Broadley to Jody Clark. And there's also some that do have the Royal Canadian Mint logo on as well, so quite a variety of ones to look out for. American Eagle quarters. I did have only 6. These are the 4 spare ones, but the 2 I did need were 1991p and a 1992p. I think I only need a 1997p for the Philadelphia mints, and then there's just a few that I do require for the Denver ones. So this is the one with all my Eagle quarters in. You can see I need a 68, a 69, 1972 and a 73 and a 77 and a 78, 82 and 87. I've made spaces already there for the 91 and 92 to go in, and then that's 97p, that's the other one that I do require. And then I've just got all the park quarters in the back after that one, so I'll be putting those in a little bit later on. American 1 cents. Now I did have 182 of those, but once again I've managed to get quite a few ones for the collection. Now this is a wheat cent, 1936, as is that one, 1944. Quite high minches, isn't that? A billion. And then we've got 59. Got the memorial, Lincoln Memorial on that one. 66, and nearly made an error there because I thought it was a Philadelphia mint. Realised 65, 66 and 67, there were no mint marks put on any of them. 68, 69 S San Francisco mint, because they did mint some in San Francisco over certain years. Later years it was mainly like proof ones that they did. 70, 71D, 1972, 72p, 73. So these, there's another 74, that's a San Francisco. But a lot of these have filled up some massive gaps. Now this one here, see I've got 3 from 1982. Got Philadelphia, a Denver and Philadelphia again. Now this one is 3.1 grams it weighs, because there was different varieties because they changed the metal content. So that's one 1982. Well, it does have a small date on that one. I don't know whether I can show you. So after the 9, the 8 and 2 tend to be smaller. This one was the slightly lighter, but this had a larger date on, which you can see all the numbers are virtually the same. And the Philadelphia mint. So the last one I showed you was the Denver, and again the larger date. And you can't get them in the smaller dates as well. Some of them, I think it might be the Denver one. It's quite rare. I don't think there's very many of those made at all. And then we've got 1983 Denver and a 1990 Philadelphia. Try to get them all put back into some sort of order. 5 cents, I did have 14. There's actually 11 spare ones there. So I had 1966, 1970 Denver. Yeah, I mean they're not very good condition. But this one was an interesting one because it's a Jefferson wartime nickel. Now, just above the building, you can see there were the letter P, so it's a Philadelphia mint one, and sort of before 1964 they tend to have put the mint marks on the reverse as opposed to the obverse, but it's 0.350 silver. I think it's what they call Billon. There's silver content in it, and copper and a bit of something else. So that was quite an interesting one to find. And for the 10 cents or the dimes, I did have 9 of these. So there's 6 there. But when I had them sort of all next to each other, one stood out like a sore thumb. I'll come to that in a second. So the 3 that I needed, 1975, Denver, and 1986. And then this cracker, 1958, Denver, because the edge didn't have that sort of red bit, the coppery bit. And I thought, I've got a silver one here, and it surely was, so I haven't even put the mintage figure on this one yet. So 0.9 or silver, 90% silver in this one. And 58, and as I mentioned, the mint mark was on the reverse, so it's actually, if you look at the word 1 just above, sort of 1 o'clock, you can see the little D just next to the torch. Also found a Jersey halfpence. There was only 3 years that this was minted, 71, 80 and 81. Found some tokens. I don't know whether this is like some sort of dog tag, but it's got the peace symbol on it. Don't think that's worth anything. This one here, 2.5 pence or 6 pence. So this would have been some sort of arcade token or gaming machine token. Well, it's like a bell fruit token. So, I mean, the sixpences went from what, 71? Well, I mean, I know sixpences were from like 1967, but 71 to 1980, when the sixpences were demonetised, would have been known as 2.5 pence. So that's that one. This one is a 5p, and it's got Ruffler, then 0001 and Deeth. Again, game machine, arcade tokens. I believe there's 10 pence and 20 pence varieties as well. Got this 1990 World Cup token, Copa del Mundo. Now, at first I thought this has got something, it must have something to do with the country. And this sort of, where the footballer is on in the backdrop is a map. And the map is of the United Arab Emirates. Now, these coins were actually produced by Pobjoy Mint. So there was a full set of them. This one here, we've got Associated Leisure Group, ALL, like a family, 10 pence token, so it's like the larger style. Cupid nickel it was made out of, but Associated Leisure Group, probably gaming machine, arcade tokens, possibly jukeboxes as well. They were made up of several different companies around the early 70s. Company was originally called the Phonographic Equipment Company, some tokens you probably see with PE on them. They emerged with Ruffler and Walker in 1968 to be known as PRW, which stood for Phonographic Ruffler and Walker. Then they became Associated Leisure Limited around sort of 1970-ish. Company then changed its name again to Rank, and then to Games Tech. So I don't know whether Games Tech still exists. This one I couldn't find anything out for. It just says no cash value, NM 1 point, and I did have 2 of those. This one here is made of plastic, and as you can see around the outside, it's got Blackett and Son Limited with the old pre-decimal 1 pence value, and on the other side it's got High Street, Sunderland. So a little bit of information on that. Blackett and Sons, I mean, the store itself closed on the 29th of July 1972. Now at that time there was a lot of stores in Sunderland. There was Bin's store, which became part of House of Fraser. There was Joplin's. There was the Liverpool House, I think it was, and all these companies seem to have their own currency. I can remember going in and they had these old style chutes where you put the money in and it went shooting off into the ether and then came back with your change. But it was a large store chain in the northeast of England. I think they had about maybe 4 or 5 shops. It was opened by William Blackett in 1826, originally as a linen shop, but it expanded over time. It bought up several stores nearby, both sides of the building, to create different departments like furniture, toys, music, etc. I know they had a music department where you could go into them little booths, listen to the music and decide if you wanted to buy the record or not. Then there was also a lane that was attached to the buildings that it bought that became known as Blackett's Arcade. The building was actually bombed in 1941 during the Second World War, and it was badly damaged, but thanks to the staff, the directors, etc., they managed to clear the rubble and, believe it or not, opened the following day at 9 AM. Sadly again, it was bombed in 1942, but again it reopened in next to no time. So a bit of information there about some Sunderland coinage. But last but not least, I got this one, and I thought I cannot fathom out what it is. I did see George's, and I thought, now this has either got to be George I or George III. But looking at the portrait, I do not think it is George III. I'm pretty sure it's George I. So he reigned between 1714 and 1727. Now I did find this one for a halfpenny, 1717, but it was 26 millimeters in diameter, 10.8 grams in weight, and it says dump issue. I don't know what that is. But this one here weighs 8 grams, so it's slightly heavier. But on the years 1719 up to and including 1723, there was a halfpennies minted, and I think that's what this one is. I think it's a halfpence from one of those years. Can't really read the date very well. It's somewhere down there at a nice light. You can sometimes see 17 something. I'll just say there 17. I just cannot make out what those last 2 digits are. Looks like a 4, but I don't think it is. But the diameter is 27 millimeters, which is exactly what that halfpence was. But the weight was 9.86, so probably due to wear and tear, that's where it's lost like a gram. But anyway, that's it for today, folks. It's going to be a very long video, I'm afraid. But thanks for watching, and until the next time, keep on hunting, enjoy yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.